All right, guys, get him! Get him! Get us hot tonight. Let's go.
Egg has been planted.
Let's go, boys. Let's see what Jared has to tell us today.
Alpha 315 brings with it some of the biggest and most life-altering changes to hit the persistent universe since 3.0, as the core gameplay pillar introduces two new aspects essential to realizing the vision Chris Roberts once referred to as death of a spaceman.
That is true.
Now, for this reason, this episode focuses entirely on the addition of injury and healing, which will change the way that players live and die in the persistent universe from Alpha 315 and beyond.
Okay. Let's see what they have to say.
There's supposed to be consequence to death. Do I want to just bleed
nice.
out and die?
Animations.
There's
That's
supposed to
pretty
be a fear of death itself.
cool. Oh, this is pretty cool.
There's supposed to be a fear of death itself.
This is pretty cool. This is what I didn't like in Star Citizen for Eternity. Like, this, like, death that happened to you the moment you were killed, right? It just goes to, like, this weird third person, and you just see your character fall. I love this, like, how they done it right now. Oh, look what I can see. Damn it, the compression is low. K Winter, CAG committed aggressive assault. Oh, who else would that be? Hey, K Winter. Good stuff. Commit more aggravated assaults, please. K Winter is the guy who is actually paying a lot of attention to the PvP aspect of the game, and that's one of the guys on the team I really respect. So this is pretty cool. I like this little change that you just dim out, right, instead of just seeing your modal third person. I like it.
It's not just a case of how I'm going to be healing myself. It's a case of who's going to come and save me if I go down.
That's cool.
315 is going to bring the next major step in realizing the vision that Chris Roberts had, and that is you are this lone explorer that is venturing forth into the unknown. The new mechanics and systems that we're introducing in 315 around healing and death of a spaceman introduces the risk part of that exploration.
It's more Battlefield-like. You lay on ground waiting for heal. Yeah, I understand that. So it's like, it's basically incapacitated state. I kind of understand that. They were talking about it previously, yeah. I mean, it just always, what I was saying is just always felt weird to like see that third person death. If you die, I don't know if you actually die here, will you still go third person? I would prefer just the lights to go out and that's it.
Pretty much 99% of the times where you would have died in Star Citizen before, now you go into a down state. And a down state is a unconscious, incapacitated state that allows other players to come and rescue you.
I don't mind this.
I
don't mind this gamification a lot. We have to understand the combat in Star Citizen and FPS combat in Star Citizen is never going to be like a realistic combat because like there are a lot of unrealistic variables in it. Like a lot of things in Star Citizen like are just unrealistic. They're just like gamified and that's fine. So I know there are a lot of people who are like against the Battle Royale and whatsoever other games like down states. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad. I think it creates more gameplay, honestly. Right? I think it creates just more gameplay opportunities. And I know there are people who are saying, hey, but what if I'm like fighting against the group and they will keep like reviving each other constantly? Well, then don't go solo against the whole group. It's pretty simple. If you want to snipe the entire group behind the cover, it's probably not going to work, right? It's fine. Like, it's fine. Also, you should take, either find them in the open so you can finish them off. So you can finish a person off completely. So like you down them and then you put more shots into them and they die, because I'm pretty sure that is going to be possible, right? Or don't try to fight solo group from a big range that is behind the cover. It's not going to work. It's like this gamification things. Maybe like it will hurt your pride or something, but they have to be there for more interesting gameplay. Yeah, like want to be a badass? Be a badass. Yeah, you may use the down. Like it also depends on how long it will take to revive someone. I hope it will take time so they get back on their feet. I hope it's not going to be like a 5 or like 3 second circle, you know, filling up. And it's like, if you gain the advantage of downing 1 or 2 guys, just you'll have to rush them then to finish off the last ones. You'll have to rush them. And yeah, don't expect like those encounters. Even like in more realistic games, like more simulator, combat sim based games, a lot of those have downstates. Like Squad have downstate. It's fine, you know. Arma in majority of mods have downstate. It's fine. Like people are, I don't think guys who are against it are like thinking it through a lot. Will we have a lot of problems and bugs connected to it? Probably. And it should be polished over the patches as usual, as everything with Star Citizen. And we just can hope it eventually will like get better. Can you see murder charges? A lot more time in jail? No one cares on time in jail. No one cares on time in jail because you either escape or you log off. And apparently if you're going nasty, you will have crime stat 5 anyway. Yeah, time in jail doesn't matter, right? It's like time in jail. I mean, yeah, you'll probably maybe will have to run more missions, a few more missions, but that's about it. It's no one is actually waiting time in jail. Let's be honest. It's either you have an alt account or you log off because you're done with the game for today, or you just escape, or you quickly mine it out. Like mining is better now in jail. As I've seen, missions are kind of there. You have to maybe probably switch few servers. Like, it doesn't really matter. We also don't know if downstate will be considered a murder. That's another thing. We don't know that. Maybe it's just going to be considered like aggravated assault or something until you actually finish off the guy. Or unless he times out after your damage and actually dies. Or gives up and dies, right? But then he's dead. You won't be like getting murders from every like downstate. We don't know that yet. I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think overall, it's overall like a very positive change. We've all been waiting for this. The other question is how buggy it's gonna be and what's gonna be the experience of players. That's another thing, right? How often we're gonna break our legs just going downstairs on the Grim hacks and we'll have to immediately go to medical facility. That's another question, right? So yeah, we're gonna see that. Is 315 the point where if the player is beyond hope? No. It's we will have. I think we're so far for the next of the kin thing. We're like infinitely far from that. It's just like they're defining how a character kind of dies right now and still respawns. There is no mechanics about that right now. Downstate is great. Rust is probably the best FPS survival game, and they've had this from beginning. I mean, a lot of games have this, right? Not only Rust, like a lot of games have it. It just adds gameplay. It adds hope, right, to a downed player. It adds up like a need to group up, like some kind of stuff. I don't mind that. Will players somehow abuse it, especially at start? Definitely. I don't even need to guess that. That is definitely, there will be abuses of the system, whatever. That's why we're here for, right? I'm really looking forward to returning in 315. Like, there are things that I'm interested in. How long it will keep me busy, I don't know, but there are definitely things in 315 that interest me.
You come back, you may come back with a very severe injury. So the injuries that you can come back with, you can range all the way from a traumatic head injury a chest, severe chest injury or chest wound. You've got broken arms, and probably the most severe is broken legs.
Each injury per body part comes with different symptoms, and as you accrue more severe injuries, your symptoms increase, the severity of the symptoms increase. With the head, it's mostly visual effects, so as you take injuries, your eyes sort of get vaguely detached from your retinas and whatnot, and what you can see starts to become impeded.
And we actually call this blood vision, and it's actually not what you'd expect in terms of blood speckling on. It's actually the delamination or the separation of your cornea on your eye.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that. A bit of blurring would be better. Like this big spots should be the most severe state, I think.
Also, force reactions, that comes into play. So the more severe your head injury, the more you react to those. So to start off with, it's the same as usual, standard functionality. But when you have the most severe injury, a strong breeze is going to knock you over. And then also we have the chest. So moving on to
that's pretty cool. The only thing, like, it's really sometimes hard on when you're like planet or moon side, it's sometimes really hard to identify like actually how strong the wind is, because you obviously don't have the feelings of your character. You're like, why I'm not running? And there is like, sometimes you don't even see the effects. Why I'm not running? And then you understand like there is an invisible like storm literally blowing in your face, and you just don't even know it, right?
that. You have reduced stamina, so you can't run as fast, or for as long, rather.
The main progression of the chest is that you start to suffer in terms of your overall general health. And also at the top end as well, you're in kind of like a weakened state. You trigger a hurt locomotion, so you can't really, you're not as flexible and mobile as you previously were. And where the arms starts to go is that you start to have increased weapon sway. You can't carry as heavy objects. And on the most severe arm injuries, you actually have broken arms.
That prevents you from climbing ladders. It prevents you from carrying heavy objects, so you might bend over, pick up a two-handed box, and then immediately drop it.
And when we have broken arms, essentially we allow the player to do what we call one-shot actions. So for example, pull the trigger on their gun.
So you can fire your weapon, but after that you're going to be forced to drop into a low carry. And then moving on to...
That looks a bit strange, honestly. That looks a bit strange, like one. Probably maybe they have some logic into it. Before we try it, it's like, what, you have to, after every shot, you just have to spam right click again to actually move it back up. It's, I don't know how it's going to play out.
Legs. Obviously, if you've got a broken leg, that doesn't really help you traversal. And when you get to that severe state, we put you into prone lock, so you have to crawl everywhere.
It's going to be a severe state.
Oh, it's going to be a pain, dudes. Lag meta. Lag shot meta. Just annoy people with shooting their legs. This is going to be annoying. Also, they obviously need like a proper animation for that, because a person shouldn't be crawling like they usually do when their legs are broken, right? They should literally drag their legs behind them.
And it's not going to be something that you're going to want to happen at the bottom of the cave.
I don't know. Maybe in time they'll just roll out of this idea in future. Well, we'll see how it goes. It's questionable if it's going to stay like this. Like to force like walking speed, yeah, but I don't know if they want in long term to force people to literally go prone. I mean, I understand their intent. I don't know if they're gonna keep it though. That's questionable. It should be able to, but for example, like in Tarkov, even if your legs are black, right, completely blacked out, you can still walk, right, slowly. We always have to understand like there has to be a gamification kind of a deal, you know. So there has to be a balance. We'll see. Not that I mind it too much. I'm just more thinking how general population will meet this, right?
How can you help yourself? Obviously, you can have medical pens. So medical pens are what you're using right now. They heal your health, and they still remain to heal your health. They won't heal it as much as previously, where it was just a one-shot, heal all, reset back to full health, you're pristine. They just bring back your health back to where it can be, depending on what injury you've received. The other thing that you can do, depending on the injury, is you can take one of 5 drugs that we're introducing into the patch.
These ideas are great, but at the end of the day, it's a game and people want to have fun. So here is my take on it. And don't get me wrong. I think this logic overall, over the years, over the decade of gaming, led us to the state of gaming we have right now, where everything has been gamified and arcaded so much just for people to have fun, non-stop instant gratification fun, that we don't have a single game other spectrum of gamers would like to enjoy, right? There always has to be a balance in that. And developer is the one to decide how they balance it. Because obviously instant gratification games and that kind of approach to make fun for the majority of the audience, that what leads us to catering to this no consequence games, right? And you have to be very careful with that. Very careful. Because Star Citizen has to be in future something that has a good balance of it, and it's not like Apex. I'm not saying Apex is a bad game. Don't get me wrong. Apex is a wonderful game, but like Star Citizen is something different. So they will need to find the balance in that. That's why I said prone. I don't know if they're gonna stick with that in the long term.
And they treat different symptoms. So some might treat muscle fatigue, some might treat pain relief, some might treat other things like headaches and so on and so forth.
Their function is to mask symptoms, and those symptoms are masked for a specific duration. And the duration is based on the dosage that you apply and also the method of applying them. So we have the med pens, we've got the med gun, the multi-tool healing attachment.
You can see the drug level. The drug level went up. It's interesting. Where are you going to carry all the med pens? So, but that's what's going to be answered, right? In the next probably week about the inventory, because there are a lot of different meds you have to carry now with you. You have to be able to do so to at least mask the symptoms, so you can get to your ship, or something. So we'll probably just have to wait for that.
The efficacy of all of those increase. We go up in efficacy from pen to sort of gadget to medbed. When you give yourself any sort of drug, so that's healing or masking symptoms, you're increasing your blood drug level. It's also alcohol, so that
I'll be like that all the day.
As blood drug level increases, you'll start to reach thresholds where you start to see visual effects, so blurry vision, muffled audio, that kind of thing. And then as you progress through that further, you'll start to enter drunk locomotion mode. And that's, as you might imagine, staggering around, looking rather drunk. If you reach 100% on your BDL bar, that results in you entering an overdose state. Now,
overdose.
This is similar to an incapacitated
That's how I'm going to play.
You can't move, you're in ragdoll, you're seeing the screen fade in and out. But the main difference is that your blood drug level does decay. So as long as you don't suffer damage enough to send you into incapacitated state and then eventually death, you will come out of the overdose state automatically.
So this is what leads to the next stage of relief. How do I cure the symptoms or injuries that I've received?
I'll just overdose, and my viewership will just drag me around the verse doing some pirates, and I'll just, all right, guys, get him, get us hot tonight. Let's go. Yeah, and just stay in the ship, laying down and rolling over. That's how I'm gonna play for sure. I wonder if you can put the person in overdose. Apparently, ability to heal someone will be there. Probably yes. You can capture someone take them into custody, overdose them, and then drag them into your ship and keep them overdosed. That's going to be hilarious. That is going to be hilarious. Too many companies fall prey to the theory of catering to the casual. I mean, it's not theory, it's practice, right? And it works. People earn good money on that. I understand it, but it just takes the uniqueness and challenge away. I mean, you can create good, unique games with that like practice. Yes, it is possible, but I kind of agree on the. It's more of a not overall, but it's across the game industry. But it's just the like Star Citizen's case, right? They need to make it some kind of a unique. So yeah, it has to be a good balance. Like we have a lot of wait citizen in the game already, right? A lot. Like the entire gameplay right now revolves around waiting, which is a bit frustrating. I understand why they do it, but it is honestly deep down, it is a bit frustrating. To all the people on Spectrum like who are saying, "Oh, that's just not your game. Just go play like Call of Duty." It's because they're not actually developed like proper gamers. Like they don't really, in majority of cases, know what they're talking about, and like they play few hours a day, and they don't want to engage in actual like gameplay. They're just gonna go and check out the ships. They're gonna ride the train, use the elevators, and they will call it a day, right? They will call it a day, and it's fine for them. But we are talking about like consistent gaming process where people like could invest like 5 or even more plus hours a day, right? 10 hours a day, 8 hours a day, and then those things come up. So yeah, a lot of there will be on Spectrum saying this like weird stuff. Like it doesn't matter. Like it's like with the comments in that video I did. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. The game has to play, and they have to start adding stuff that is outside of the waiting simulator. Hopefully they're gonna manage to do it.
You can only cure those injuries based on going to a medical facility or a medical bed. And depending on the severity of that injury will dictate which facility you need to go to.
Now, it's not a one bed fixes all. Not all beds are made equal. We have the Cutlass, which is a tier 3 facility, and that can remove minor injuries, so the least worst of the injuries. You've then got the Carrack and 890, they're tier 2. They can relieve minor and moderate injuries. We'll also have rest stops. They'll have clinics within them, and they'll also be able to, they're a tier 2 facility, so they'll be able to heal moderate and minor injuries. And then the creme de la creme, which is tier 1, you'll find those in hospitals, and those can remove any injuries.
They didn't talk about respawning.
So we've talked downstate, we've talked injuries, and we've talked treatment. But what happens when the worst occurs and you die? So previously, or currently...
Before he gets into that, so as far as I understand, you just have, for now, it's going to be like this. You have injuries, you get to the appropriate level tier of a facility, you just check the boxes and press OK, and it's instantly healed. I think I'm getting this right. I think for now it's good. The game is problematic enough to make it more complicated than this. I don't mind it.
You respawn in a hab. That's out the window now. Now you respawn in medbed. There's numerous locations that have medbeds, so that's hospitals, that's clinics, Carrack, 890. Those are the ships you can respawn in, at least the Cutlass you can't. Your default respawn location is actually set as your home location.
So when you log in now on 315, you'll be asked to choose your home residence. This home residence will become your
Grimhacks, please. Okay? Grimhacks.
home regeneration point. And this is what the main area that you have will be dictated to that hospital. If a landing zone has a hospital associated with it, then that hospital will become your main regeneration point. If you choose a landing zone that doesn't have a hospital associated with it right now for 315, but will do in the future, it will associate the nearest hospital to that landing zone. And you will be given that information before you log in, and you have to confirm that. If you die and your regeneration point is not available, so for example, you set your regeneration point inside your Carrack and you're flying your Carrack and your Carrack blows up, you will then regenerate at your home resident.
You will regenerate at Spectrum and start making a post about the griefers who destroyed your Carrack. So one thing I have to note here. It's my personal. I am completely up for different ships having different tiers of medbays. What I think is wrong is that you can respawn, let's call it not offensive word regenerate, but the proper word respawn. But I feel it's completely wrong that you can respawn at Carrack, but you cannot respawn at other ships, like at Akari Red. I don't want to say pay to win right now because like anyone can buy a Carrack in game. It's not the point. I think like respawning is like a huge thing. I don't think it should be possible for you to respawn at ships. I think respawning at ships should be only possible if it's a capital ship. Maybe. I mean, probably, yeah. I'm not even sure about that, but just capital ships. And I'm excluding like 890 jump from a capital ship thing. Treating severest injuries, yes. I don't mind that. But respawning, go back to the hospital. Yeah, I don't think this is a good call. It's going to create yet another useless meta in game. They either should leave respawning at every med bay, or they should remove it and give it only to hospitals.
So that is the original hospital location that you spawned at. When you are incapacitated, before you fully die and regenerate, you will have a significant period of time to wait it out for people to be able to come and rescue you. Now, clearly, if you've taken a severe amount of damage, that time is going to be less. And if you've taken a moderate amount of damage, that time is going to be greater. But we're talking, in the half an hour, 2-hour range where, there should be plenty of time for somebody to come and rescue you. Clearly, if somebody's there still damaging you while you're in the down state, they can essentially coup de grace you, they can execute you, and you will be forced to regenerate. But we are giving the player enough opportunity to try and wait it out. If players don't want to wait it out, and that is their choice, then they can choose to regenerate immediately. And the one thing that we will do...
And I will comment on this. I've seen a lot of people being negative and saying it's another wait gameplay. I completely disagree with this. This actually creates gameplay for groups on a next level on a longer period of time. It's less of a, I have to run there and sprint instantly to save my body while his circle, quickly goes down. I don't think there is anything bad in it. Like, people are saying, oh, another wait gameplay. No. If you don't want, you can do the same thing. You can still backspace. Like, what's your problem? You got to 0 HP, basically. Let's cut down all the injuries. You got to 0 HP, right? You got into a down state. If you don't want to wait, just backspace. Oh, you're going to lose your stuff. Yeah, you're going to lose your stuff. But that's how it always had to be. Just backspace and lose your stuff. No one is like keeping you there. But if you wish to wait, then wait. No one is forcing you to lay down for an hour there and wait. No one. Like, people are not getting this right. It's just you have more options. No one is taking away an option from you to just give up. It's fine. It's fine. I love it. Honestly, I love it, and I cannot wait to see it in action. It will be one of the things why I'm actually gonna get back into the game. The inventory system, and like new ships like Redeemer, I was waiting for years. This is fine.
What you want to call out is if you do regenerate, then you will leave behind all of your items and gear that's on you right now.
Exactly.
But we can talk about that next week.
Exactly.
So we still have a significant amount of actor status related gameplay that is going to come later. But this is just to let people know that, you know, we're going to put this out, understand, measure, get feedback, and then shape it into something that is what everybody wants, that what we want it to be, that is this true vision of Star Citizen. So this is just the next step, but it is a big one.
Yep.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that the daily cycle of death and respawn is changing to healing and injury. The new treatment options mean new gameplay opportunities for field medics and the like.
Yeah.
And that when you do die, the impact will be felt greater than before because of inventory changes we'll be discussing next week. Now, don't forget, Ship Showdown is happening right now, where you can vote in the top 16 and determine who the winner will be. And the Digital CitizenCon video contest is almost over, so don't miss your last chance to get your submissions in. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. We'll see you all next week.
I agree. And you see how positive I am? I didn't say a single rant, because that's actually the content I expect to see on these shows. This is amazing.